Hey guys, I just wanted to do my review of The Flash Season 3, Episode 6, which is known as Shade, who is supposed to be the feature. First of all, this is definitely like a pretty big episode. It has its flaws, so I'm just going to get the negatives out of the way. Shade refers to the titular villain who is from the Flash's Rogue Gallery, who he was Victorian era immortal, who was able to do shadow manipulation, kind of like Obsidian on Legends of Tomorrow. And of course, I expected him, if he was ever going to be on the show, he would get the metahuman treatment. He sucked. He basically looked like some damn shadow-like cloud that was coming up, and he murdered a guy because he was talking about investments, and you have no idea what his real motivation is. And even though Barry and Julian found his husk, apparently he got his powers from Dr. Alchemy and was a metahuman from Flashpoint. And for some reason, they have the evidence there, but based on they can't put two and for some reason they can't put two and two together. For some reason, Barry and Julian and the rest of Team Flash, until H.R. Wells points it out that the Shade was basically used as a distraction for Alchemy to start communicating with Wally and convince him to become Speedster again. And Shade was somebody who was looking forward to being in this show ever since he was introduced on Justice League. And he's a waste of a villain. He was like most one-note villain this show had to offer. And the CGI was iffy, I guess. Was, kind of half-assed in my opinion. And, he never knows his motivations. And he's kind of taken out using, setting up car alarms remotely from the Star Labs van and by Cisco, and then Caitlin using power dampeners, cuffs, to basically subdue him. So that was a letdown. But anyway, the positive was that Barry's still trying to be friendly with Julian and talk about working together on the case more. And although Julian's is insisting on they're not being as they're able to work together better, Julian's still kind of being a dick to him and sort of like just turning down his invitations and being reluctant to work with him and not wanting to go to movie night with Barry and company. And also because he has a girlfriend, and also saying just because we got drinks and work together well once doesn't mean we're buddies. And HR is actually I kind of like it. He's actually a pretty good addition to the Star Labs team. I mean, he's basically going to be being comic relief, as like I said, being the idea guy. He keeps saying like, "Oh, I'm going to prove myself of being here," by saying that he wants to turn Star Labs into a museum in order to divert suspicion and keep people from realizing that everybody that works there at that point is going to realize that that they work with Team Flash. And he says that he wants to be the face of the company / museum. But then they have to explain to him the whole situation about Eobard Thawne impersonating Earth 1 Harrison Wells, and how he confessed to killing Barry's mom using Harrison Wells' identity, and that he's going to get arrested if he sets foot outside of the public. And although he's a little bit miffed that he wasn't given that information as soon as he arrived on Earth 1, he decides to use a device that alters his facial appearance to look like his partner from Earth 19, I think it was like Randall or Randolph. And I guess I like this whole little joke where Cisco tried to take the device from him because he assumed that HR took his power dampening cuffs that he was experimenting on. It's like, why would I take the cuff? He makes this joke about, why would he take the cuffs? And like, I forgot the joke. It was like, I haven't even talked, and why would I? I just got here. It's like, why would I even need the cuffs if I haven't met anybody, and we haven't even gotten to the cuff stage yet? And assuming that he's he basically has this kink for like you know handcuffing girls to the bed or whatever for sex, and they were just kind of looked and they kind of looked at him weird, and they used the device to accompany Joe, his date Cecile, who is the assistant DA, and Cisco and Caitlin to movie night, and so Barry and Iris can stay behind and look after Wally because he's getting visions and memories of Flashpoint through Alchemy, and they lock him in the pipeline to make sure that he doesn't get corrupted or turn evil or anything happens. And even though, so Caitlin finally revealed that she was becoming a metahuman and getting Killer Frost powers. She asked Cisco to vibe her, and he gets a vision of the future, which they're fighting one another with their powers, which is why I put the picture of Vi from the comic books. It looks straight. It looks just like that. I'm not even joking, and it looks like it translates well to screen. It looks like an awesome fight. And at first, like, Cisco says that the future turns out fine. She doesn't become evil, but then Caitlin realizes he's lying, and then he says that we were fighting one another, but Caitlin even gets pissed, and then while they're at movie night, I guess this is like funny scene in which HR decides to like tag along, and he starts like just charming the pants off of Joe's date, much to Joe and Cisco's chagrin, and with Joe even whispering in. He whispers into Cisco and just goes, I'm gonna slap somebody right now. And that's of course when the Shade shows up, and that's when they subdue him. But of course, like I said, he was turned, like HR said, he was just a distraction because, Alchemy's communicating with Wally telepathically, and basically, they don't know what. And he finally decides that, just use him as a way to lure out Alchemy, and, I'll just go to Alchemy and say that I'm going to get my powers from him. And also, with Flash and Joe and the CCPD SWAT team accompanying him, and Flash is able to help subdue Alchemy and his entire cult, which I was afraid of. That apparently the whole cult worship are worshippers of Savitar, and even though Alchemy subdued, he says you have no idea what's about to begin, and he bends down. Apparently, there's this whole like flash of this light that's just like zipping around the whole hideout, and only Barry's the only one that can see it, and which clearly means the Savitar is faster than Barry. He frees the cult worshippers. Flash is chasing him around, and the beam of light kills the SWAT team members and knocks out Joe. And Wally, in the midst of all of this, just grabs the Philosopher's Stone and is trapped inside a chrysalis, which presumably about to get his Kid Flash powers. And the episode ends with, I guess, the Flash being choked out. And if you're probably wondering, hey, why do you have a picture of a Transformer in your video? That's what Savitar looks like. This is the design they're using for him. They took which is ironic because how they take a pot shot at the Transformers franchise in the season 2 finale, and yet that's the model for their main villain, who's another speedster, which I'm not happy about. They really need to get away from that. But some other positives, like there's some nice scenes between Barry and Iris where Iris confesses that because it felt reminiscent of the conversation between Eddie Thawne and Martin Stein in the season 1 finale, in which he felt kind of, inadequate, and that he felt like he couldn't contribute anything to Team Flash. And Iris seems to feel like she has the same inadequacies, like she's not a scientist, she doesn't have superpowers, and she feels like, it doesn't matter whether or not she's around, like they'll all be fine without him, that the Flash and the team would be fine without her. And Barry reassures her that there is no Flash without Iris West, which is very true, and something they drove home with, the Runaway Dinosaur, where she pulled him out of the Speed Force, and also, I guess, in Flashpoint, when she was like she's always been like encouraged him to fight the rival and get some of his memories back to be able to defeat him. There's also this nice moment between Cisco and Caitlin, which I guess Cisco was pissed off. I guess Caitlin got pissed off because when they were talking about Wally's condition, Cisco forces Caitlin to tell the rest of the team that she's getting Killer Frost powers, and Caitlin is initially pissed that Cisco made her tell them, because she was right. It was not his secret to tell. But then she understands that Cisco realizes that it's bad that they all keep secrets from each other. It's especially bad on Arrow, and which is why I give them props for doing it, for Cisco doing it in the end. And there's also this scene between Barry and Caitlin where Barry feels guilty that everything that's happening, Alchemy coming after Wally, like his Killer Frost powers. And he does mention to Caitlin in the original timeline, before it was tainted, that she was never supposed to become a metahuman. And Barry blames himself, and then when they're called back to the Cortex, you can tell that Caitlin's pissed by the dirty look he gives to Barry. And based on the previews, it seems like she's still gonna that anger's still gonna fester itself, and especially in this whole like Jekyll and Hyde dynamic they have apparently going for Caitlin and Killer Frost, which seems to be I don't know, I guess it's sort of like I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I guess it's sort of the way of just kind of trying to accelerate her transition into Killer Frost, given the amount of trauma she's been through, or she hasn't been through enough trauma to, I guess, turn her evil. I don't know. But overall, I mean, in spite of my gripes about it, I really did enjoy this episode. Like I said, even though the villains sucked, Saint's Alchemy, it was made up for it, like in Monster, with the character dynamics and all the character moments, and that seems to be the saving grace for it. And next episode is going to be the Kevin Smith directed episode with which is titled Killer Frost, and it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. And I just feel like in my opinion that Killer Frost and Alchemy should have been like the main villains for the season. They should have like kept Savitar completely out of the picture, especially. And it kind of feels insulting that, I kind of wanted Gorilla Grodd to be a main villain, especially. But I figured, the CGI budget's not big enough, so they can't do that. But yeah, it seems kind of insulting if they have, they spend the CGI budget on a Transformers-looking Savitar. But anyway, guys, what do you think of the episode? Are you excited about Wally getting his power? Are you excited about Caitlin becoming Killer Frost? Vi getting the full-on costume? Do you think, and also because Julian was absent during the sting operation for Dr. Alchemy, do you still think it's going to be a red herring or not? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.